One of my favorite TV shows of all time was a show called Cheers. And Cheers took place at a neighborhood bar in Boston. And at the corner of the bar was Norm, the character Norm. And Norm kind of presided over all the comings and goings at this bar. He had opinions about everything. Everybody wanted Norm's take on things. You could tell over time that Norm was beloved by all the regulars. The character Norm was played by a Chicago actor by the name of George Wendt. And a couple years ago, just by coincidence, I was presiding at the wedding of his niece. The bride's mother was his sister. She was an event planner by profession. So this wedding was planned to the nanosecond. You know, at 2:03 we're doing this, at 2:04 we're going over here, at 2:07 there'll be an announcement. Everything was planned to the second. Well, everything was going swimmingly, and then disaster happened. The bride and the bridesmaids were getting into a shuttle bus at the Conrad Hilton to take the short drive over to the church, and I don't know what happened, but the bus driver went south on Lakeshore Drive instead of north. And just shy of the Indiana border, he realized he was going in the wrong direction. Well, back at the ranch, there were 250 people wondering, what is going on? What is taking so long? At this point, we were hundreds of thousands of nanoseconds behind schedule. George came up to me and said, "Father, heads up, heads up. When the bus arrives, my sister is going to kill the bus driver on the front steps of the church." I said, "Wow, I've never done a funeral and a wedding at the same time. Awesome." Well, the wedding eventually happened, beautiful, and I found myself sitting next to George at the reception, and he's as funny in life as he is on the screen. And he's a character actor. You know, like he became a legend. He did this bit on Saturday Night Live, you know, the Bears. You might remember in the last century, the Bears won the Super Bowl. But he said, I kind of morphed into Norm. I'm waiting at the airport to get on a flight. I'm in the store shopping. I'm sitting at a restaurant having dinner, and people come up to me like I'm their long-lost friend from the old neighborhood. They just start talking to me with a familiarity. He said, "I'm a Chicago kid, got that urban radar on, you know, you don't talk to strangers." And people just start talking to me. I just love it. You know, there's a theme song to that show, and there was a line, you know, sometimes you want to go where everyone knows your name. And you know, this weekend, the scriptures are really talking about the mission of church. The mission of what does it mean to be a believer. And, you know, sometimes we get into mission talk. Now, mission is a hot word these days, you know, mission effectiveness. Whether you're producing widgets or training, educating brain surgeons, if people have a sense of mission, it brings the best out of them. They feel connected in a way that they don't if there isn't a sense of why are we doing what we're doing. You know, here in the first reading, really, what's the ultimate goal of the mission? The ultimate goal of the mission of a believer is to be at one with our Creator. And Isaiah is never better than he is this morning. He speaks of being on top of this glorious mountain with a wonderful meal, the choicest of wines. And then he's going to lift the veil that separates us. The veil that has plagued the human community since its very beginning. The divisions that take place. Well, on this mountain, with the Lord in our presence, the Israeli will sit with the Palestinian. The Ukrainian will sit with the Russian. The people of the global south will sit with the industrial world. Those who have will sit at the same place as those who do not. A sense of profound unity that transcends all of our divisions. Now, Paul tells us, you know, this is quite a journey we're on. If that's the goal, we got to be at it every day. But you know, God will give you what you need to continue the journey. And I know, because I've been hungry and I've been fed. I've been alone and I've been together. And wherever I'm at in the point of my life, I've always known that God will give me what I need. And Jesus in this parable says, one of the great missions of the kingdom is we have to keep constantly going into the highways and the byways to invite people to join us, to invite them to the table. Come and be with us as we continue the building up of God's kingdom in the world. But underneath all of this is something about Cheers for me. This parish has 3,100 registrants. And a registrant can be a single person or it could be a family of 6. It translates into about 15,000 people that one way or another identify themselves as a member of this parish. And there's a tremendous blessing with having all these people, but one of the great challenges is, how do people feel like they belong? How do they feel connected? I often hear from newcomers, it's very intimidating, this parish. How am I ever going to feel at home here? As you get to know people, I always tell the associates, never talk about anybody, because you might be talking to somebody's niece, nephew, brother-in-law, sister-in-law, mother, father. There's a large connection here of families. But how do we create a place where everybody feels they matter, that everybody knows their name? If they're not here next Sunday, we want to know where they are at. This sense of community is at the foundation of a mission. We're in the process of reflecting on stewardship and what does it mean to be a faithful steward? And how can I use my time, my talent, my treasure to be a part of this parish? And that's an important consideration. I'll call your attention this week to the bulletin, and we give kind of a snapshot. Where do the resources of this parish go? Budgets say a lot of things. Above all, the budget tell you a lot about the mission of a parish. And you'll see the investment that you make in our liturgy and worship life. Our biggest line item goes to children. We spend $1 million every year, school, religious ed, youth ministry, funding these important outreaches to the children. They are our future. It's important for a parish to have a social mission. It can be very easy to kind of live in a bubble and not realize the needs of the larger world. Every week we tithe 6% of our collection that provides very important support to the 4 sharing parishes that we are connected to. We support several second collections out of that tithe. It takes a lot of people to run a parish of this size. And so staff, the maintenance crew, the investment we need to do to maintain this beautiful place. And then we have to look to the future. How do we keep exploring new ways of growing as a parish, finding new connections? During the pandemic, 180 new families came to OLPH. That's just how this parish keeps growing, keeps expanding. And with your help of time, talent, and treasure, we're going to have a great future, because there is the commitment of the past that serves as a challenge to the future. How can we, with our time, talent, and treasure, build on what has been given to us? Now, when I speak to the 3,100 units registration, I can't possibly know everyone's situation. There might be a single person that's on a fixed income. They don't have a lot of discretionary income. There can be, a family, tuition, mortgage, car payments, just a lot of responsibilities that have to be met. And then there are other people, I've been contributing at a level for the last 20 years. Maybe it's time to look at what I might be able to do. It has nothing to do with me. It's about you and your relationship with the Lord. As Paul says, we're blessed, and God's going to give us what we need, as he has always done in the past. I thank you for your consideration of stewardship. It's very important. The more people get involved in the life of the parish, the more they have this sense that I belong. Maybe the greatest challenge will be, how can I find more time in my life to get involved in scripture study or the sharing program or to be a catechist? Maybe, I have a background in administration. Maybe I can help in that aspect of parish life. There's many opportunities. I'd be happy to talk to any one of you if you're trying to figure out, what can I do? Because I want to be at a place where everybody knows my name. Now, in case you're wondering, the bride mother did not kill the bus driver. And in fact, everybody felt so bad about how bad he felt that he was invited to the reception. And he came to the reception. And my great memory of leaving the reception is I looked over, and there was Norm and the bus driver having a beer at the bar. Everybody lived happily ever after the end. Thank you for participating in this production of our virtual Mass. Your presence means so much. Every day, so many parishioners connect to OLPH through the digital ministry. The digital ministry is one of almost 80 ministries supported by the parish. That's why your support of the parish is crucial, so we can continue to have the resources to fund all of our ministries that touch the lives of many. Thank you for watching, continue to watch, and thanks again for your support.